Okay, so hi everyone, and I'm Shrinish. I'm a GDG organizer here in Berlin, and I'm really thrilled to be here at the GDG Summit in Berlin in 2025 with our special guest Rody. Rody is a developer advocate, Flutter expert, and a creative technologist at Google. Something about GDG Berlin, it is a group of around 1,000 plus members, and we organize tech talks, workshops, and related to latest technology trends. And currently we are running a Build with AI campaign, and that is the reason we have AI as our topic today. So yeah, thank you so much for taking out the time, and it's great to be here with you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course.
So yeah, let us start right away. So I would like to tick things off with asking, is it your first time in IO Connect in Berlin, and how do you feel today?
Yeah, this is my first time in Berlin. I've been to Munich a couple times, and so I'm really excited about the event here. I have heard great things, and the last couple of years, people seem to really enjoy it.
Great, yeah. And so how was your journey into tech? Like, I would like to ask you, because you are a Google developer advocate. So did you have interest in Flutter right from the beginning, or could you just tell our audience a bit about how your journey was and how you got into this domain a bit?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in a really small town, and I was really excited about science, but I didn't know any developers. So for me, I came to it through hacking on everything, taking apart everything. I was a musician, and so I learned how to, create music and things like that involved a lot of technical expertise, which led me to audio engineering. I was an audio engineer for a while, and then got into video production, then into system administration. And it was after college when I found out about app development, not just programming, but building for iOS and Android. And I realized it was a creative field. So I was able to leverage everything that I did in music and audio and started creating music apps and things that were really fun to build. And so having started on Swift as my first language in iOS and then later Android, I was a solo developer having to build multiple apps. And so Flutter was one of the first cross-platform frameworks that I was able to use to build apps really quickly. I worked in the mortgage industry, so I built mobile apps for loan officers and realtors, and then later worked at graphics programming and then Google.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, that sounds very exciting, and I'm super happy to hear about your journey. So would you mind telling us currently, if you have any side project, or what is the thing that excites you the most in the Flutter community with respect to your development, or with respect to your project, or something like that?
Yeah, totally. So I really have enjoyed building with Dart. It's a language that is pretty extensible. You can compile to WASM, machine code, JavaScript, and I feel like I've enjoyed trying to do a bunch of weird things with it, including getting web components working, or working with JavaScript interop in different languages like C with FFI. But probably the thing I've enjoyed most in the last couple years is I ported signals from Preact into Dart, so I could use it with Flutter, and it's been really fun to kind of bring some of the best of the JavaScript ecosystem into Flutter.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, currently also the ecosystem is moving a bit towards AI. There is this AI buzzword everywhere, and that's why, with respect to this topic, I would also like to deep dive a bit into the AI domain. Cool. So, do you know which kind of models are used usually in Firebase Studio with respect to AI, and why have they selected these models?
Yeah, so Firebase Studio uses a variety of models, including Gemini 2.5 Pro for the app prototyper, and by default, Gemini 2.5 Flash for the Gemini inside of Firebase. Those models are extremely capable and fast, and by having a full Google stack, working with the Google teams for Gemini, also Firebase, we're able to really have a cohesive picture of like how we want to build the end-to-end experience. You know, we have the telemetry to see how the model's performing and how we can give that feedback and see ways that we can improve it. And of course, there's prompting, but then also seeing how developers use it, right? Because you may build the perfect prompts and the perfect evals, and then lots of people come in and use it a completely different way than you expected. And so it's been interesting to see how people have come to it and have been excited about, you know, bringing their own ideas to life through this natural language prompting. And then also inside of our regular chat, you know, we give you the ability to pick a custom model or even a fine-tuned one with a custom ID. And so it's been interesting to see people take advantage of that too. We give you access to like the preview models if you want to like try something that's kind of bleeding edge. And I think it's just been really cool to experiment with that, because every model has its own kind of unique quirks and stuff like that. But it's always a trade-off between speed and performance. And I think if you come to Firebase Studio, you might be interested to see how fast you can build, because we allow Gemini to read and write files and run terminal commands. We have like a full context aware of your code base, so it makes trying out these new features a lot easier.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you said, because even the student community is very much into Flutter and the ecosystem. And I think for them, it's very important that they like get to try the product a bit. And vibe coding is also like one of the like trendy topics nowadays, because even the people who are not so much into Flutter development are using these vibe coding platforms. And could you just tell us how vibe coding, how can one use vibe coding into Firebase Studio, or how are they related to each other?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting thing to watch, where people come in with a bunch of different ideas on how they're going to use AI to build. On an extreme, you've seen people build SaaS companies that are completely through natural language and trying to build quickly in the open and really fast. Where I've seen particularly our vibe coding platform work really well is where you're using our templates for existing stacks like Flutter or React Native, or even like we even have like .NET, Laravel, things like that. But then you can use Firebase Studio prompting with our app prototyping agent to build these secondary apps, you know, so things like your marketing page, or implement new features, or just try to get that first draft out there, because it is so much easier to get something working and to see even if you're on the right path before you like kind of invest and start building. So one of the things that we've done to make it really easy for developers is we're helping you build agentive apps. And so what I mean by that is like inside of the app prototyping agent, if you ask for a feature, like an AI feature, it'll actually wire up the image generation or the multimodal input, both to and from the backend. We use GenKit. And so it makes building those types of apps a lot easier. So you can say like, I want to have an app that gives me an inspirational quote and generate an image based on that quote. And it can completely wire that up for you.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I think as time progresses, I think there will be more and more interest. And with the documentations and a lot of resources, I think it'll be more easier for people who are also not in this domain to use it more and to develop more apps, I feel.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, and then like let's shift the focus from AI domain to a bit of general like developer ecosystem. So as a GDG summit, we have a lot of developer advocates here who are showcasing different products. And with respect to that, what do you think, why do you think Flutter has such a passionate community of users, and why has it taken off so much in the past few years?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's led to that is, first of all, Flutter just has an amazing team and group of people that are leading it up. The community is really welcoming and trying to encourage people to come in with little to no experience or completely with a huge background in native experience. I think where Flutter really shines is as a plugin author, you can get something working on the various platforms, and then the next person that comes in, all they have to do is write Dart. They don't have to know how is this going to work on desktop or web or mobile. They just start building with these abstract APIs. And so I think it really makes the toil of development a lot easier, to where you don't have to think about how will this render on the different platforms, how will this function work on different platforms. You just start thinking in features, and you say like, okay, well, I need to pick a file, or I need to render a button, right? And so both of those abstract things work together to build like this really portable, huge amount of code sharing, cross-platform framework. And so I think even in regards to AI, Flutter has made it really easy to build adapters and models. And so now you can build a chat interface, or you can build an agentive application that you write once and you can run on all the platforms. And even a recent development is Notebook LM actually used Flutter for both their iOS and Android app as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I have used Notebook LM for quite a different things, even translating a book into a podcast. Mm-hmm. So that was quite exciting for me, and I didn't know about this. Okay. So to think a bit about the future of AI and the future of the Flutter ecosystem, where do you think this AI with Flutter will be in the next few years, and where do you see it going? Like, do you envision managers or AI taking the role of managers in the Flutter ecosystem, or even in general in AI? So a bit about the future, and what do you think the vision of Gemini with Flutter Studio is?
Yeah, so I think that there is a lot of, I feel like we're just now reaching there's a lot left on the table. There's a lot of potential still left to do. So in particular, Flutter is really well positioned, because when you want to build with dynamic UI or interfaces that need to adapt to every platform, need to adapt to any type of input, all of these things are really hard to do already. And so if Flutter takes that toil out, and so you could say, I want near native performance on all of these application targets, then that's a win. Also, Flutter has great support for like shaders and other types of compute paradigms. So it makes building your custom renderer a lot easier. And so like we could see the role of like building agents or even portable runtimes, if you wanted to embed something into robotics, because Flutter has its own renderer, you could literally port it just like you can on a Raspberry Pi. And in Firebase Studio, we want to make working with Flutter really great. And so I think that the world of working with Flutter is like, trying to unlock the types of applications that people have been wanting to build. I feel like we've seen a lot of, especially for experienced developers, a lot of explosive growth and learning, especially when it comes to Notebook LM and Gemini Deep Research and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is the way future, and that brings us to the concluding remarks for this podcast. And I would like to thank you a lot for taking out the time to do this interview. And it was very nice to chat with you regarding this. And I hope that you also enjoyed equally. And for our viewers, would you like to tell us about where to connect with you, and where can they follow your work or something like that, and how can they keep in touch with the developer ecosystem? Yeah,
of course. So definitely check out Firebase Studio. Firebase.studio is our URL. I'm also on all the platforms at Rody Davis. You can also find me anywhere in the Google groups and things like that. So I really thanks for having me on, and hopefully there's more to talk about soon.
Thank you so much, and it was great to have you. Have a nice day.
Awesome, thanks.